Hey guys, it's Mary Kate, your host for Vikings Voice. I know you guys are all ready for summer, but you'll have to wait one more month. So look forward to an inspiring news around the world, an exciting school news, an awesome interview, a new bloopers corner, and a virtue you'll be interested in. So let's get to it. Here's a story that left me speechless. A British artist named Stephen Wiltshire creates panoramas that are totally detailed. Crazy, right? And he also does them in only a couple of days. That's even crazier. He has created the panoramas of Madrid, Jerusalem, London, and many more. Stephen, though, didn't have it always easy. He was diagnosed with autism at a young age. A teacher, though, helped him overcome this obstacle by inspiring his love of drawing. That is so impressive.
Hey, it's Lexi.
And it's Elizabeth, and we're the interview team.
We're here at the police station today.
Good morning, Police Chief Mark Swistek.
Good morning, Chief of Services Royce Williams.
Good morning, Kevin Urbanzik, Chief of Operations.
So our first question for you guys is, what are the parts or components on your uniform?
Very good question, and I will let Kevin answer that because Kevin is in charge of the Uniform Patrol Division. So.
It'll be a little easier if I stand up. I'll start from head and work my way down to toe. So each officer is equipped with a uniform. They have this type of uniform, which is a tactical uniform, and then they also have the same uniform that Chief Swistek's wearing, which is more of a dress uniform. With that, this is dress clothing that Chief Williams would wear.
We're plainclothes people, so
Yes.
I don't like to be left out.
Continuing on, above my uniform, I have what's called the vest. Officers have the ability to wear their vest either over their clothing or under their clothing. What's nice about this is we have the ability to just simply take it off if we need to. So if we come on station and you do some paperwork, we literally just simply slides right off. On our badges and even on the dress uniforms, they'll have a name tag. With these, the name tag's actually stitched on. Each officer has a badge, and then they also have a body camera. They're required to carry a body camera. This is the microphone for my radio, so I have a radio that's on my duty belt, and I can communicate through my dispatchers and officers that way as well. On the back, it also says police. Each officer, when they're working the street, is equipped with a duty belt. It's got a whole bunch of different types of equipment that comes with it. Starting in the front, we have magazine pouches. These are just the bullets that would go in our gun. We have a taser that all the officers are equipped with. We have a radio. It's actually charging up right now, just as a standard portable radio. On the back side, each officer is equipped with pepper spray. And I'm not going to take it out, but as you can see, each officer is obviously equipped with a handgun. Have a flashlight. Different types of officers have different types of flashlights. And then each officer actually has a pair of handcuffs. Some officers have multiple handcuffs. Some officers have really neat designed type handcuffs. They might be black. Some of the female officers that we have carry pink handcuffs. So there's different types of handcuffs that the officers use. Each officer is also equipped with a tactical knife. It has a window punch on it, so in the event they go to an accident or they're in a house and they need to break out a window, they can obviously tap on that window with their knife and it'll actually break the window. It's a nice tool to use. And then each officer is equipped with duty boots. That's working the street. They have boots to wear. And then they have a lot of other equipment that they keep in their cars, such as fire extinguishers, electronic equipment for writing tickets, tint meters, portable breath test units. So each officer is equipped with a lot of different equipment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, what are the most common crimes committed by people?
Common? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The most common crimes that we deal with are probably related to domestic disputes, fights, and then a lot of quality of life issues that we deal with in neighborhoods and that. Sometimes it can be public drunkenness. Sometimes it could be disorderly conduct when someone is not behaving as they should as a good citizen and they're causing a disturbance within the neighborhood, and that they can actually be arrested for a Class B misdemeanor for disorderly conduct. which means it's conduct that's unbecoming and it's tumultuous conduct, conduct that would cause someone to maybe want to engage in a fight with another individual in that. Violent crime, obviously every community has violent crime as well, from shootings to stabbings and homicides. But I would like to say that the city of Michigan City has seen a drastic decrease in violent crime. We're very pleased with our violent crime numbers. We still have occasional robberies in that, like a gas station robbery or an individual gets robbed. Those are very unfortunate incidents, but communities across our great nation do also struggle with similar crimes as that.
A big other aspect of that is property crimes, a lot of theft. That's ranges from someone taking something from your house or shoplifting or even breaking into a house to steal property when you're not there. So although we're seeing decline in those numbers as well.
So what do movies or TV shows get wrong or right about you guys?
You're an evidence tech. Anything right?
I can tell you from experience that what you see on TV is normally what does not happen in this type of profession. Normally what you would see on TV, such as a crime scene investigation show, is that officers will get called to a scene and there might be some blood spatter or some DNA evidence left behind. The officer is able to collect it, or the detective can collect it. They'll send it off to an evidence technician in their lab, and within 15 minutes they know who the suspect is and they can arrest them. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out like that for us. Typically in our type of situation like that, we would collect the evidence, we would send it off to a state police lab, and we might not get results depending on the severity of the crime. If there's not a priority with it to be done, we might not have the results done until 3 to 6 months later.
Oh gosh.
So if we go to a burglary and maybe somebody cut themselves while trying to enter the property, we collect the blood that was left behind, we'll send it off, and hopefully within 3 months we might know who it is. Yeah.
One of my favorite ones is the photo. If someone were to take a picture from a surveillance video of a vehicle plate that was a mile away and somehow you can push a button and magically zoom in on that and have that information, I am waiting for that to actually happen, because that would solve a lot of crimes for us, but that's another one. It's a farce.
One of the things we have seen that has drastically improved is the technology in law enforcement. When we first started, we were handwriting all of our reports. Everything we do now is computerized. I mean, you guys have grown up in an atmosphere in school where everything you do is on, Chromebooks and iPads and computerized in that. So everything that we are now doing is also very technically advanced. It comes at a very expensive cost. Like our body cameras. Our body cameras alone cost us about $18,000 a year just to store the video to the cloud, because the information is stored on a cloud-based server. So it's very, very expensive. Just like the taser that Chief Urbancic had shown you, that's about a $1,400 device as well. So it's a very, very expensive tool, but it's very important to our profession.
Okay. So what's the best part of being a police officer?
Well, I'll start with that and then pass it to the gentleman. I think the best part is we took this as a calling to give back to our community, to help others, and that it gives you great pride each and every day when you can make a difference in people's lives, because there are people that are definitely in need of our assistance, and whether it's an accident scene or it's something very, very horrific that's occurring to them, there are only certain people that are going to run towards danger. And when you take this profession, you understand from day one that you can be placed in a very dangerous situation. And we really have a calling for this. We enjoy doing this. And I'm very honored to work with the men and women at the police department, because they're a great group of men and women who are very brave, very hard, honest, hardworking people. And
to kind of mimic what the chief said, helping people is obviously the big one. That's got to draw you here and keep you here as a profession. If you don't like helping people and putting things together for persons out there that have been wronged or are having problems, then you shouldn't be here in the first place. Another big one for me is putting very dangerous people off the streets so they can't harm, hurt, steal from other people. And as long as we're successful at that, it keeps the balance. So that's very rewarding.
They took both of my answers.
Yeah.
But I would just like to echo that obviously being able to help people is very important within this job. You have to know that you want to help people. It's very similar to being a doctor. Doctors help people. If you don't want to help people, then you don't need to be a doctor. But I didn't take this job to make my wealth. It's not going to happen. But I took this job being able to help people who cannot help themselves. And again, just being able to make a difference in your community. You can make a difference in your community with anything that you do in this profession, whether it's going down the street picking up trash, whether it's helping somebody that's got a barking dog, just the quality of life in the area. You have to be willing to help your community.
Okay. So in order to become a police officer, did you guys ever have to get tased or pepper sprayed?
We did, yes.
Oh.
Every officer is required to take a 5-second hit from the taser, and the reason we do that is we want the officers to understand the use of force that they are applying to a individual when they're arresting them. So therefore, also when they go into a court of law, they can express to not only the judge and others in the courtroom and the jury that we understand the type of use of force that we're applying, but also if someone was to take us to the ground and take our taser from us, we understand that that taser could incapacitate us to the point that we would probably have to use lethal force against someone, because if they were to taser us, if someone took my taser from me, it would make me defenseless, and therefore I'd be left with no other choice than to probably have to use my handgun. So it's a very good tool. We use it a couple times a month on some very, very dangerous people. But it is very effective as well. So, and it keeps our officers safe. And we have seen since we've implemented the use of the taser that our officer injuries on the job have decreased because our officers aren't wrestling on the ground with people as much as we used to. Now we're applying the taser and taking people into custody much sooner and much safer.
Yes, when this came out in the early 2000s, we were, at least I was scratching my head. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. We're going to be shooting people with fish hooks and electrocuting them. I said, this isn't ever going to work, but it actually is. It is a tremendous tool, because otherwise you'd have to go hands-on or take a baton out and potentially cause serious harm when not needed, or resort to lethal force when we could take this step. So it was a great tool for law enforcement.
When it comes to tasers, every time I hear the word taser, it makes the hair on my arm stand up, because I can remember I was only on the department for about a week or so, and that's when we first got our tasers. And who was the demonstration person that got it? It was me. So I remember that first 5 seconds, and it was very painful. But like they both said, it's a great tool to have. You have to be able to realize if you were to get hit by it, what you can do. But also with the tasers, there comes pepper spray, and not only did I get hit by tasers, but I got hit by pepper spray, not once but twice. Our department has our officers get sprayed with pepper spray when they get hired, and then you also get sprayed when you go down to the police academy. So it's miserable, but I would tell you that I would rather get tased than pepper sprayed.
It's only 5 seconds of pain, where the pepper spray could probably linger an hour, if not more, with the irritants in your eyes and everything else. So I'd take the 5 second hit. Wouldn't be looking forward to that either. That hurts.
Okay, so our cameraman Adrian, he wants to become a police officer when he's older, and he can come on over.
All right, Adrian's chance to ask questions.
Yeah.
All right. You got the whole film crew in now.
Yeah.
So, what are the steps in the police academy?
Okay. The police academy, I'll cover some of the basics. First, you have to be hired by a department and then sent off to the academy. Once you get to the academy, it is like a military boot camp. Law enforcement is similar to a paramilitary organization. So what that is we're like the military, but we're on a civilian type basis. So once you get to the academy, your first couple of weeks, they're pretty hard on you as far as the physical fitness requirements and that. Everything is very disciplined. They make you walk in a straight line, looking straight ahead all the time. Yes, sir, no, sir. So it's very, very regimented. And then I'll let Royce talk a little bit about the education we get down there.
Education's extreme. As a matter of fact, it's probably, obviously I passed all my classes, but I had issues with traffic. But anyways, they go through the criminal law, through the traffic laws, and that's pretty much probably a third of the course that you go through with the attorney that's assigned there. But what I'd like to more concentrate on before you get there's a big step you're missing. And how old are you now?
I'm going to be 14. in
Okay,
April.
14. So that time's going to fly. You have a great time at this age, because before you know it, boom, you're going to be 21, and that's how old you got to be when you can apply to be a law enforcement officer. So between now and then, that's the important steps you take. you maintain and be a professional person, courteous person, honest person. The social media stuff wasn't so, I don't think it existed when myself and the chief came on, so we didn't have to worry about them consequences. But a lot of people we look at now, probably half of them can be filtered out just by looking at their Facebook or their YouTube accounts and everything else, because there's two sides of people. You want to be the same person, be respectful, be professional, be careful what you put out there on social media, because it doesn't disappear. Somehow, some way, it's there and we'll find it. So keep that in mind to take them extra steps forward.
So the academy is 16 weeks. Some of the things that you're going to learn is criminal law, traffic law, like they had mentioned. Traffic law was my favorite. Traffic is what I enjoy doing the most. I like enforcing the traffic laws, doing a lot of DUI enforcement, accident investigations. And then you'll have defensive tactics, where you're going to be handcuffed, learn specific types of defensive tactic maneuvers. And you'll have emergency vehicle operations. That's a pretty fun thing too. Drive your police car on a course and learn evasive maneuvers. You'll have firearms. There's a lot of different things that you'll learn at the academy within 16 weeks. It seems like you're there forever, just because of the military style boot camp. But once you're done with that, then you'll come back to the police department and you'll ride with an officer for another 16 weeks, where you'll learn geography, learn city ordinances, the rules and policies of our department, interacting with the public. And after that 16 weeks, if your field training officer says you're okay to be on your own, then you'll be released on your own.
You know, funny story, because we got to add some humor to this morning, because we do know this is going to go viral someday. You're 14 years old, okay? So 26 years ago, Chief Williams and I went to the Law Enforcement Academy together. So we were partners down in the academy. And to this day, I can tell you, Chief Urbancic talked about, the emergency vehicles operations course down there, where you get to drive a police car really fast and that. Well, I was sitting in the back seat and Royce was doing the driving down there. To this day, I don't let him drive me anywhere. So if we go somewhere I have to drive, that's all I'll say about that. But we had a great time down at the academy together.
The vehicles now have much more control than they did back then. When you hit the brakes, you literally. So there wasn't many cones left on the track when I was there. Good times.
But we had an enjoyable time down at the academy together. So yeah, because we're both into our 27th year here at the department. So.
What would you recommend for the people that want to be police officers?
Chief Williams said it best, is to become good citizens. I mean, you really have to live your life in the manner that you're looked upon all the time, because I always see it as we live in a glass fishbowl. Everything that we do as public servants, when we're here at work or when we're in our private life, people are constantly looking at us because they know who we are, what we do for a living in that. And especially someone in our position as the administration here at the police department, we're constantly critiqued on everything that we say, everything that we do. People watch us closely. So therefore, you got to make sure that you understand going into this profession that you're going to be under constant scrutiny. You're going to have people yelling and screaming at you and using some of the most profane language you've ever heard, but you've got to remain calm and professional, and you can't lower yourself to their level, because you're the one that has to stay calm to resolve the situations. If you cannot solve problems in your own life, whether they're financial or domestic, relationship and that, then you probably shouldn't be doing this job. Because if you can't keep your own life together, you're going to have a hard enough time trying to go out into the world and solve other people's problems. Because that's what we are. We're problem solvers.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so what inspired you to be a police officer?
We'll let Kevin start this time, since we always take the answers.
I can tell you that I knew I wanted to be a police officer when I was in elementary school. I was always the kid that would get my friends together and play cops and robbers. I was always the cop, and I always made them the robbers. So I knew from a very young age that this is something that I wanted to do. And as I continue to get older, I took the steps that were needed in order to apply for this position. You obviously want to stay out of trouble, get your education, and when I entered the Explorer program, I ended up taking charge of that program, and it was really good to know that I was obviously making a difference, and sooner or later that I would, my goals would eventually be paid off by taking this position as a law enforcement officer. So.
That's exactly my goal. I'm a little bit different. Growing up in high school, I didn't have the aspirations to be a law enforcement officer. When I went to the military and served there for 4 years, 2.5 in Germany, and that's when the war kicked off over there. I came back and I wanted to have a purpose to where I'm still serving the public in some kind of capacity. I applied for the fire department, police department, post office, and the prison. And I was in between the police department and prison and the background investigations when the police department hired first. And after I got settled in here, I was like, "Whew, this is where I need, this is where I belong. It was a good fit, and I love helping people in the community."
Well, when I attended Queen of All Saints School, I can tell you, as a student in school, I come from a family of 3 boys. I'm the oldest of the 3. And my father was a police officer hired here in 1963. And he served the department for about 23 and a half years. So as a young child growing up, similar to Adrian, I knew at the time when I was attending school at Queen of All Saints that my lifelong dream was to become a police officer. So all throughout, even into high school and that, I stayed strong in athletics and that. I continued to pursue my dream to become a law enforcement officer, and immediately when I turned 21, I applied to the police department. Now I will tell you this, upon applying the first time, I took the test, I passed the test, was in the application process. I got a letter from the city that said there were no positions available, thank you for applying at this time, because they weren't hiring at the time. So immediately upon getting that letter, I turned right back around. I went and turned in a second application because I wanted to continue to pursue my dream to work at the department where my father had served. And on my second attempt, I was hired by the department back in 1992. And I'm looking back on it, I never ever would have thought of doing anything differently than what I do today. I really enjoy what I do, and it's been a great, great career.
Okay, well, thank you for talking with us.
Absolutely.
Well,
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the school news segment of the Viking Voice. I'm your host, Dan Canola. In the month of April, we have a few things to get to. First things first, I know it was a few weeks ago, but I hope everyone did great on the ice steps. Second, leaving on the 26th, the 4th grade will be going to our state capital of Indianapolis. They will return on the 27th. Finally, I know it's about a month away, but even still, I hope everyone's ready for summer because that will be coming up soon. See you next time.
Welcome to the new Vikings blooper section. I'm Joe.
And I'm Kaden.
Let's go and look at some bloopers. This is going to be really funny, guys.
It's gonna be huge. Once you're done eating this, there'll probably still be lunchtime left. If you do like 3 takes.
This is just gonna be me. I'm gonna be eating while filming. Bloopers.
Hi guys.
Hey guys, it's Elizabeth.
Yeah, like you're Elizabeth, huh?
Hey guys, it's Lexi.
And it's Elizabeth.
And we're the interview team.
Oh yeah.
No. She messed up.
This is an ad for pretzels. This one has so much salt content, it makes me go crazy.
Hello, welcome to the Viking Sports Corner.
Hey guys,
We are the interview team.
I'm Lexi.
I'm Elizabeth.
We interviewed Business Near today.
Oh shoot, I forgot the line.
It's right.
Hi, welcome back to the Virtues Corner with Kaden. This week's virtue is trust. Trust is when you believe you can do something or you believe in someone. So for example, you can trust someone to help you with your homework if you struggle or help you study for a test.
Thank you so much for watching the April edition of Vikings Voice. See you guys next time.